Do you ever go to build a new deck and just get overwhelmed by all the great card options and then end up with 20 or so cards over the 100 cards that you need in your Moxfield list? And then you gotta cut cards. Well, that was us with this build. So anyways, welcome back to Sideboard Therapy. I'm Graham.
And I'm Drew. Today, we've got a deck on Sokka, Tenacious Tactician. This commander is an explosive spellslinger that provides us with some powerful ally synergies, helping us go wide with a board full of ally tokens to run all of our opponents over. So, if that sounds like a fun deck to you, let's hop into it.
Our game plan is to try and get Sokka on the board turn 3, so we can start pumping out a token army with all our non-creature spells and cantrips. With a total of 9 2-mana rocks plus Soul Ring, we have 10 pieces of ramp that can get Sokka out on turn 3, and if we draw into one of these later in the game, at least we still get an ally token for casting a non-creature spell. Be sure to check out the full deck list on Moxfield, and let us know in the comments what commander you'd like to see us build next. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for future deck techs like these. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a look at what categories we've broken the cards in this deck into.
We have 7 categories that we've split this deck into. Ramp, which we already previously touched on, card draw, protection, removal, ally payoffs, token makers, and lands. Let's look at what makes this Jeskai Spellslinger deck unique from the rest. We play 16 total creatures, 6 of them being non-ally creatures. South Pole Voyager and Ondu Cleric both provide us with some nice life gain from our ally tokens entering, with South Pole Voyager drawing us cards for the second time an ally enters each turn. Wartime Protesters provides us with a 1/1 buff to our allies, and most importantly, haste. Hadoka's Selfless Commander can provide us with some card advantage for allies on the top of our libraries, but with the low creature count, he is mostly here for the protection ability of sacrificing to give our creatures +0/+5 and indestructible until the end of the turn. With other allies like Hero of Gomafada providing indestructible for our creatures for a turn when we have an ally enter, and Cabria of Angel doing the same but granting protection from a color of our choice instead.
We could use this for protection at instant speed, granted we have Sokka on the board, and are able to cast any instant spell to trigger our commander to create an ally token. Additionally, the protection from a color will make all our creatures unblockable by creatures of the chosen color. Longshot Rebel Bowman not only reduces the cost of all our non-creature spells by 1, but also provides us with an additional source of damage, dealing 2 to each of our opponents each time we cast one of our non-creature spells. This can start to add up fast for sure. Katara, Water Tribe's Hope, has Waterbend X, an ability which lets us pump up our creature's power and toughness for a turn and can be an amazing finisher for this deck. Tut-Tuk Scrapper acts almost like an Aura Shards in this deck, but just for artifacts, allowing us to destroy an artifact each time we have an ally enter, and this creature deals damage to the artifact's controller equal to the number of allies we control. With how many ally tokens we're pumping out, your opponents can say goodbye to all their mana rocks if this guy sticks around on the battlefield. And finally, Seagate Loremaster is a repeatable source of mass card draw, assuming our opponents allow this card to stick around after seeing how many cards we draw off of them. Bonus tip is to use Lightning Greaves or Swiftfoot Boots on this guy to give him haste the turn you play it.
Speaking of card draw, let's look at the rest of our deck for our card advantage package. We play 7 cantrips, which not only help us dig through our deck, but also provide efficient ways to trigger our commander's ability to generate ally tokens. Archmage Emertus synergizes perfectly with these cantrips, drawing us cards whenever we cast or copy an instant or sorcery. Enduring Curiosity gives us cards whenever a creature we control deals combat damage, and is difficult to remove with it returning to the battlefield as an enchantment when it dies. Frostcliff Siege is a versatile enchantment that can provide us with more combat damage based card draw or provide trample and haste for our creatures. Kindred Discovery is excellent in any Kindred themed deck build, allowing us to choose a creature type, allies in this case, and draws us a card whenever we have an ally enter or attack. The amount of draw from this card can get out of control if it is not removed quick. We also play Whirlwind of Thought to draw from all of our non-creature spells. And how could we not sacrifice a few of these ally tokens to the cause with a Skull Clamp to draw a few more cards in a pinch? In our opinion, card draw is what wins games every game, so we've included plenty of it.
Next, let's take a look at cards which double up our tokens or make us additional types of tokens. Elspeth Stormslayer is a planeswalker that acts as an anointed procession effect, doubling our tokens we create. Her +1 ability makes us 1/1 soldier tokens, and her 0 ability gives all our creatures +1/+1 in flying for a turn, which can be a fantastic way to close out a game in a board stall. And her -3 destroys a creature an opponent controls, mana value 3 or greater. Exalted Sunborn is a flying lifelink angel that also doubles our tokens, but can be warped into play for only 2 mana for a turn. If we plan on casting lots of spells in one turn to generate a large army of tokens, this is a great way to do it. Renewed Solidarity provides a small buff to our allies, but also creates a token copy of all the tokens we had enter this turn at our end step, with Monastery Mentor just being too good not to include as an additional token maker. Even though these tokens are not allies, they still have prowess and scale in power and toughness like all our ally tokens do when our commander Sokka's on the board. War Leader's Call is a great source of ping damage when our creatures enter, and United Front is a mana sink or a way to rebuild our board state after a board wipe. Also, what's better than having one copy of our commander, you might ask? Having two or more, of course. Irenicus's Vile Duplication creates a non-legendary token copy of our commander with flying. Now imagine one of our token doublers being out on the field when we play this. Yeah, that's busted.
We have a simple and effective collection of mana rocks to help us ramp. Playing the majority of 2 mana rocks can help us ramp out our 4 CMC commander by turn 3 after playing a mana rock on turn 2. Therefore, we can get our game plan of creating ally tokens going by at latest turn 4. We also have Patrick Banner to buff all of our allies, and Storm Kiln Artist generates us a treasure token whenever we cast one of our instants or sorceries.
The removal suite for this deck is cheap and efficient instants with one-sided board wipe. For instant speed creature removal, we play Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Lightning Bolt, Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, and Snap, as well as Wear and Tear for artifacts or enchantments, and Generous Gift for any permanent type, with Raise the Palisade being our one-sided mass bounce effect to clear the board and swing in for lethal.
To protect our board state and support our game plan, we play 3 counterspells, An Offer You Can't Refuse, Dovin's Veto, and Good Old Counterspell. We have things like Flawless Maneuver, Clever Concealment, and Dawn's Truce to help keep our creatures alive, while Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots are there to help protect our commander.
A few cards that didn't really fit anywhere else, but help us buff up our creatures are Sokka's Charge, which feels like it was just made for this deck. Akroma's Will is a finisher or way to protect our board, with Brave the Sands not only providing our creatures vigilance, but also enabling them to block an additional creature each combat, keeping us protected. Shared Animosity increases the power of each of our attacking allies, while Veyran Voice of Duality doubles all our prowess triggers.
The land base is pretty well balanced, with an emphasis on untapped lands to keep our deck moving fast. Although we're saving some money by not including fetch lands, if you've got them, of course add them in. One key land of note is Three Tree City, which has got the potential to tap for a large amount of mana based on how many allies we control. Overall, this deck is a ton of fun and I think you'll enjoy it. I'll top to the goldfishing.
Alright, so here we are in the Moxfield playtester. Let's do some goldfishing. So go ahead and hit restart here. And that is a Soul Ring and a Signet, but no lands. So let's go ahead and take a mulligan. Alright, that's a lot better. We got lands, we got plenty of rocks. Even the Soul Ring came back to us. Not a lot else, but we'll see what we draw into here. I think it's hard to pass that hand up, right? And that definitely guarantees that we will have Sokka out early like we want. So let's go ahead and start. We will draw for turn. Another mana rock. We do play a lot of those, so it's pretty good. Alright, let's just go ahead and start on a Darkharp Waste here. We don't need the color mana right now, so we will tap that for colorless. Play our Soul Ring, turn 1. And let's go ahead and tap the Soul Ring and get a Fellwar Stone out. Why not? Alright, so let's go to turn 2. We untap. Let's go ahead and draw for turn. So we are already the archenemy, right? We have 4 mana here on turn 2 without playing a land, so 5 mana already. Let's go ahead and shock in the Steam Vents here, go down to 38. So now we have enough mana to go ahead and play Sokka. We have the colorless here. So what we can actually do is we can tap 2. Get another Signet out, and then we pay the colorless here to add the blue and white, and we'll go red, one of any color, and we can also get our commander on the board. So just like that, we have ramped out Sokka nice and early on turn 2, which is crazy. It just shows how powerful the Soul Ring is. Alright, let's go ahead and go to turn 3. So we do have the Lightning Greaves here. That's kind of assuming we're playing a little greedy, hoping that Sokka survives, but we'll say he does this time. So let's see here. We want to play a land. So we go ahead and tap the Soul Ring. And then we are going to need red as well. So go ahead and tap for red here, and let's just do colorless. So we will play long shot, which will make our non-creature spells cost 1 less. So I think we want to go ahead and get the lightning greaves out. Would be good. And then we also want to get this out. So let's just do that first. So tap our Felwar Stone. We'll play the Is It Signet. So that is going to cost 1 less from long shot. We'll also deal 2 damage to each opponent. And go ahead and make our first ally token. We got that right there. And then we want to get these greaves out for sure to protect Sokka. So I think we tap here to add a mana into this. And then we can use 1 of that mana to go ahead and play the greaves for the reduced cost, which will make us a second token. So let's see, is there a way to clone this? We'll just add a counter, so now we have 2 of these. And then we would of course want to protect Sokka. So here we are, I mean, turn 3 already set up, pretty crazy. So now we're really just looking for our card draw. And of course, when we cast Lightning Greaves, we have another damage. So out here with Long Shot, these would have prowess, but they don't have haste right now, so we have to wait. Let's go ahead and go to the next turn. Alright, so we got a land here. So we're not missing land drops, that is good. We do need to find some card draw though, so we can kind of keep going. We really dumped our hand on the board, but it is in the deck. So at this point, we have a ton of mana, but it's like, okay, what else do we have to play here? Of course, we have the swords. We need to use that. We'll probably just hold that up. So this commander comes out and it becomes a threat. So at this point, I think, there's really no point not to just play the Stormkiln Artist, right? And then that way, if we do use the, let's see, I'm trying to do too much while I'm thinking here. 1, so this adds 2, that's 2. We need a red though. So instead of tapping this, tap the Is It one. So I don't even think about it that much, we don't have anything else to play, but get this out. That way when we do use the swords, we will get not only another ally, but a treasure token from this Stormkiln, and then more damage dealt to our opponents. So here we might have the option to go ahead and deal a little bit of combat damage. And because our tokens have menace, they're hard to block. Let's go ahead and do 1 more turn. So just more removal is drawn here. So yeah, I think with this hand, it was definitely very explosive getting the mana rocks out, and we have some interaction here, but kind of lacking in the card draw at the moment, so just a little unlucky, but easily could start drawing more card draw and doing a lot more here if we were to find out. Let's see how far away it might have been. Well, look at that. Next turn, there's the Skull Clamp that comes down. Have to sacrifice some of our tokens to the cause, but that will just create another token when we cast the Skull Clamp, deal more damage, then we'll get to draw another 2 cards off the Skull Clamp, and then I think we just kind of keep going from there. So I feel like that just kind of showcases the potential that's here. Of course, you're not always going to have the Soul Ring in the opening hand, but we play so many of these mana rocks that our odds of getting Sokka out really early, by at least turn 3, is pretty high. And then you can see once you do, you really just get your game plan going, start kind of flooding the board. Of course, if you had a draw engine earlier, that would help you kind of just have more fuel to go a little faster. But, every game's a little bit different, so. Don't forget to leave us a comment on which commander you'd like to see us build next. Drop a like and subscribe here for more at Sideboard Therapy.